basket is weighed. So it's you know, very technical and down to the grams. All right, so yeah, a wee bit here and a wee bit there you think mightn't matter. Well, telling you right now under the watchful eye of the judge, it really does matter. So there's a lot going on up there, a whole lot more than it looks. As the shearers are firing up the neck all nice and smooth on these, the first one of 3 here on these big woolly backs.
Just watching these wool handlers. The first fleece, it does look a little bit boring to the observer, but what these wool handlers will be doing is they'll be sticking right with their shearer. You know, if there's nothing to do where the shearer is cutting off the wool, they will go around behind the shearers and sweep any little bits of rock wool or sock wool that might be there. Because these wool handlers are judged on the cleanliness of their board as well. But here we go, Ashley turns and throws. Not a bad throw. Looks like the neck got caught up the top of the table. But aren't these fleeces throwing well, Gerald?
Yeah, there's a wee bit hanging here and there and a bit of bunching. But in general, just to get the show underway, it's all good. Now we're back to that stage of they've got a shearer on the board shearing, and there's certain things there that have to be done. But on to the tables they go. All those little fingers all around the edge wool, getting that that sort of water stain, that frivolous stuff out of there. Look at them. Now keeping an eye on the shearer. When's that crutch wool going to arrive? Well, it's arriving on stand 2. Rochelle's back, ready for action. Geraldine's done that too. They clear that. They leave the table at the moment. We'll leave that sitting. It's not going to go anywhere. Get the top knot wool out of the way. Up the neck goes the shearer. Wool handlers. Great thing about wool handling is, or the unusual thing about them and the wool presses for that matter, is they can't set the pace for the day, ladies and gentlemen. So shearer sets the pace. If a shearer's tired, he does have the pleasure of sort of having a, you know, a lazier sort of day. But not the wool handlers and the pressers. They've got to keep up with what's happening on the board, Toma. Oh, he's having a bit of a natter. I'll just keep on rolling on in here. Roll. Tiara. She's happy with that. Into the bag it goes. Rochelle. Don't be frightened, ladies and gentlemen, to encourage some of your buddies. It is the Golden Shears. Don't forget that. You can hardly look it up there. Look at all that beautiful gold right, and the Golden Shears are right. Thursday morning, the beginning of something big. Onto the tables they go again. 4 in a row. Beautiful. Back to the boards. That board must be clean before that shearer comes back out. And so it is.
Just looking down here on table number 4, Ashley's got a little bit over the side. There's probably 4 points lost just there. Just on this little bit of wool hanging over the side, the size of an A4 sheet of paper. So there's probably 4 A4 sheets of paper just there on that. And I was looking at that judge when she threw that fleece, Gerald, and he had a bit of a grin on his face, you know. These judges, they're pretty hard people, really. I don't even know if they're human sometimes.
Yeah, no, they keep it all honest, so they do. But of course, in the long run, all this is done for the industry as a whole of developing and coaching and giving the wool handlers in this case, because that's what it's here this morning, a yardstick where they can measure their ability, their quality, how good they're going, and of course they take that into the shearing shed when it comes to not show time but work time. They take it into the shearing shed, and that then of course produces a good article for the farmer and a great article for New Zealand as a whole. So that's what it's all about here as they roll their second place. Shearers hit the long blow, just turning to the last side now. Tiara, she's happy with that. Rochelle's doing the roll, pulling it all in, bit of a loose fleece, having to wrap it, pull it in there, and you can get that sometimes. A cotty fleece is a fleece that's really tight and holds together, and you can chuck it up there and give it a heap of air time and it'll still land there. Other times it'll be loose and floppy and you've got to handle it correctly. They'll get a very strong idea when they're handling it right up here now as they're starting to set their fleeces up, Toma, of how it will throw for them. Here we go.
All handlers turn, squeeze, throw, all not bad. Down here, table 4 so far. Table 1, table 4, pretty much similar. 1 minute 30 seconds. These poor wool handlers have got 1 minute 30 seconds to vacuum the floor, do the dishes, what else, clean the wharepaku, and then it's 1 point per second. We got Ashley down here on table number 4. A pretty clean looking fleece by the looks of it, Gerald. There's not a lot of pieces to pull out. Some of these wool handlers, they just might be pulling out a bit too much pieces.
Yeah, well, they can, it's a judgment call on the day, isn't it? And they'll find out soon enough when all the points are up on the board. But at the moment, sometimes they get that opportunity on, they'll start doing a lot of this table work on the board. You mightn't see it as much in the junior grades. There's the bang of the table I mentioned earlier, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get that table clear. Bang, bang. But yeah, they might do a wee bit up on the board. You'll see them sit on the board and lean right round and flick that wall round and start sort of doing a lot of this work while it's still coming off, Timer. So it's all exciting. We're on to the last sweep. Bring them home.
We've probably had about a minute so far, so these wool handlers have got 30 seconds. Just looking around, like you say, these wool handlers, they've got to keep an eye on everything, In a typical wool shed situation, when you've got 6 shearers and you've got 6 wool handlers, 2 sheepos, 2 presses and a sheepo, that's a lot of people to be working in a little confined area, especially on a shearing board, a running board as they call it. So these wool handlers, they really need to know where they're at, what they're up to, be able to look around and just take note. But it looks like one of these wool handlers about to put their hands up. Yes, there it is, table 2, Michelle. So what's happening at the moment is these wool handlers will sweep all that wool together, and in amongst that shorter stuff there will be longer bits of wool, so they'll just grab it, give it a shake, all the shorter stuff will fall to the floor and that goes into a separate basket. Put your hand up when you're finished. Well done.
Thank you, fellas. Heat 3, junior wool handling. Angeline Cahoon, Ann Kennedy, Diane Mason, Philly Edmonds. Those competitors take the tables to the board now, please. Heat 4, Isabel Francis, Claire Price, Jadine Patterson, Catrice Hawkins. Heat 5, Conan Gray, Credence Coldshaw, Lionel Taumata. Final call, Lionel. Need to see you up here, Lionel Taumata from Gore. You're in the 5th heat. And Nikoi Pethua.
Looks like our judges have finished up there, so if you can, if you're competing, take a wool buddy up with you to set up your baskets while they sweep the floor, and you have 40 seconds to get yourselves organised. Tectra, the sponsor of this event. Thank you to Tectra. The junior class, yeah. A lot of these wool handlers have probably been doing 1 or 2 seasons.
Yeah, just to follow on about the Tectra while we're getting a set up here, of course it's one of the training courses that the shearing industry can go and get some, refining done to what they're doing or what needs to be done. Teaches the trade of shearing and wool handling, and I guess it does go beyond that. It goes into managing money, good manners and etiquette and all those sorts of things. So it's a whole package of developing yourself in the industry, but keeping the industry at a high level of making sure that you're...
Put that shearers to the board, shearers to the board. Just waiting on our green light up the back and we'll get started.
Just a call, please, late competitors. Your final call, guys. Lionel Taumata from Gore, Chaz Toyohariki from Riverton, Kiriana Reary from Masterton, Annette Hohepa from the Hawke's Bay, Those 4 competitors, final call for the junior wool handling. Need to see you up here, please.
We've got the green light, Lance. He just gave me the finger, Gerald.
Uh-huh. We're developing enemies already.
See, this year's a little bit different, Gerald. We've got the board points and time points up on the, coming up on the big screen there. Okay, timekeepers ready. Shearers, get set, go. Yeah, so no, this year's a little bit different. We have the time points and the board points coming up on the big screen up top. The only thing that's not there is the outside points.
Beautiful. It's
Well, it was before.
Yes.
I might have blown it up.
You've jinxed it a wee bit, but yeah, that's good. It's the Golden Shears is just that step ahead of some of the other major shows, aren't they? With all this technology up here, this big screen we've got, which is going to be magical. While the Friday nights and Saturday nights in this place is rocking and packed full. That's going to be brilliant up there too. It's it's going to be terrific. Back to the board though. Who have we got up there? Top knots are clear. You'll see the wool handlers get them out of the way. That's a special little place they go. They've been round the crutch, the shearers have been there. That's got to come out as well, and it will have been. You'll see they'll do a lot of extra work here. What they do is they haven't got that table to take care of at the moment. That's going to arrive soon. But right at the moment, it's just them and one shearer. So they can do a little bit of stuff I mentioned of. They can just start doing a little bit of that table work now by leaning right round over the back there, that long blow. They know where that wool is. There we go. And Kennedy's going to do it. Just rolled it over, but decided otherwise as the cheek wool comes off on this side. Thought, oh, gee, will I go for it or will I not? No, I'll leave it. But here it is now. She's setting her up for the throw. She wants that throw right. A lot of points tied up in that. Edmund's down on the bottom stand. She's just getting that little bit of sock wool out of the way. Here's the throws, ladies and gentlemen. Kennedy.
And turns and throws. Boom. Oh, lovely throw down here on table number 4. Just looking at these fleeces though, Gerald, there is minimal skirting to be done on them. Just looking at, this fleece down here on table 4. I don't know if because she's a local and a favourite, I'm not sure. But very minimal skirting. But all of these wool handlers, they look around, they're looking at their shearer. The bits they're pulling off the fleece at the moment are the first pieces, aren't they? They're similar length to the fleece wool, but just coloured.
Yeah, that tainted wool, a lot of times, it's just around the edge of that belly wool, isn't it? Sometimes it can be water stained, where the sheep's wandering around the paddock, and there's longer, when the grass is seeded, and there's that long seed head, and it sort of water stains it and the likes. Seed head itself, that can get in the wool, and it can get on the back of the fleece as well, okay, which is called VM, as in vegetable matter. That's got to come out if it happens to be there, but hey, look, well presented sheep, absolutely terrific. But the interesting thing is just take note of the different styles of throw. As I mentioned, they get a pretty good feeling of what that fleece is like when they're rolling it over there, getting it organised for the table throw, and they're thinking, I'm not going to give this baby too much air time because it's not going to hold for me, and all the top will fly straight over the top of the table. And others, they know it's nice and firm and chunky, and they'll give it some air time and give it that quick flick, and it'll just float out there and plop straight on that table for them. So take note, you'll see some of them sort of basically just give it that little bit of flick and just roll it out. As they're arriving again, Toma. Table 2, we need that clear. Come on, let's give Anne a hand. Come on, Anne, get that in the basket, darling. Here we go, back to the... Oh, yeah, see some action now. Toma, take us through it.
Oh, Anne, come on, girl, you need to rock and roll boogie. You need to catch up because these other wool handlers, they've already got their fleece on the table. When you walk out on the board and there is bits of wool there, if the shearer stands on it, you're in a little bit of trouble. We're not saying that you're out the gate, because you're never out the gate in this wool handling business, because most of the points are lost out the back when the judges out the back are judging oddments and the fleece wool. But it's a very, very good indication of what is going on with these young wool handlers at the moment. Like we're saying, this is the junior class, so these wool handlers haven't been doing it for that long. After this, I think we have the novice class, and the novice is like the kohanga reo of wool handling. That's all the ones that have probably started just this season. And then later on you'll get into the open class where they're all the old battle axes. Mi'i Nuroa, been around for 400 years and still going strong. But back to these junior wool handlers at the moment. You missed. Just going around their fleece wool. When these shearers get to around the heads, we have what we call a modulated fibre, and around the wool around the heads, the cheeks and the top knot, it does not accept dye. So these wool handlers, they have to take that out, and as far as I understand, it is not allowed to touch the main fleece wool or you will be penalised. Gerald.
Tables are clear. Here we go. Let's watch these different styles, ladies and gentlemen. Anne Kennedy, she's on the case this time. She's listening to the commentators. Rock and roll, okay. She's going to be the first one. A wee flick. Sits it up, a wee bit hanging. Diane Mason sits well. Who's down? Edmonds on the bottom stand. No pressure, darling, but gives it heaps of air, and it sits pretty well. Fluffed it right up there. Angeline on the front stand. Round they go, workers. Fingers working really hard. Round that edges. Getting those first pieces out. Sprints round the table, onto the other side. Gives it a little flick. That's getting those little bits. You'll see them falling out between the grating, ladies and gentlemen. That's why the tables are designed like they are. Get those second cuts out. We don't want that short stuff in there. You get a piece of carpet with a big long hunk of wool and then just a wee short bit. That doesn't look ideal. Here we go. Angeline. Table clear. Kennedy. She's happy. Rattle the Mason. Rattle the tables. Another rattle the table. They're starting to get into it now, Tuma.
They certainly are getting into it. Come on, girls. Who's got the quickest broom? Who wants to be the first one to the smoko box, Gerald? I reckon it might be this young Anne Kennedy on table 2.
She has. She stepped the game up. Talking about not ideal, not having the board clean in a show. But lots of rules in the shearing shed too, folks. Yeah, the old shearer comes out and there's still wool sitting on the board, even if he's fast, quick or otherwise. Could be a 24 pack at the end of the day for that, as the tables are rattling. Hand in the air, Angeline on front stand here. Kennedy's happy, she recovered well, she has recovered well, so she has. Mason's wrapped up, bottom stand, Edmonds. Finishing touches, doing the wee shake on the first pieces, getting those smaller ones out, as commonly known as the second pieces, and she has her hand in the air as well. Heat 3 it will be, isn't it? Wrapped up.
Yeah, thanks, fellas. Heat 4, please, competitors. Table 1, Isabella Francis, Claire Price on 2, Jadine Patterson on 3, Catrice Hawkins on table 4. Heat 5 will be Conan Gray, Credence Coleshaw, Nikolai Bethua, Sarah O'Donnell. Heat 6, Brooke Birch, Chanel Kawana, Erica Reti, Shanae Flutie. Just a call, please, for the owner, if you like, of the sponsored Hyundai vehicle out there for the Wrightsons last year's sponsored Hyundai. We need you to report into the foyer, please. That vehicle has to be... It's all done. Okay, mate. Thank you. Just a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, up behind us here, the southern end of the southern side of the stadium is our St John's people. So if you've got any injuries or any cuts and bruises that need, or any health issues at all, they're there for your benefit. Who are we waiting on, mate? Just a final call, please, Kiriana Riri from Masterton. She's not coming. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I'm sorry, it's not St John's, it's Wellington Free Ambulance Service up here behind me. So if you have any health issues, by all means hop up there and get them sorted out. So thank you very much to the Wellington Free Ambulance Service.
Right, Isabella Francis, Claire Price, Jadine Patterson, and on the bottom stand is Catrice Hawkins.
Geez, these wool handlers are keen, aren't they? It's good.
Yeah.
We've got Catrice down here on table 4. She's been doing a bit of shearing lately. So it wouldn't surprise me if she has a go in the triathlon. I don't know if you've heard of the triathlon, Gerald. It's when you compete in the shearing, the wool handling, and the pressing. And the best quality points gets a prize.
We like that. No, I've read about it and heard about it, but that's the first time I've got a description of what happens. That could be exciting.
Can we have our shearers to the board? Shearers to the board, guys. Timekeepers ready. Shearers, get set, go. Oh, whoa, whoa, hang on guys, sorry. Are we good to go? We're just having a few little technical difficulties, but are we right?
Right.
You made us stop for nothing here. Okay, timekeepers ready. Shearers, get set, go. Right, Gerald, we're away again.
We're away again. By jolly we are. It's just exciting times. I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, just to give you a bit of a brief on myself so you know who I am, since we're going to be, doing a bit of yakking, I suppose, for the next couple of 3 days. The last time I was up here as a intermediate shearer about 20-something years ago, so I'm a bit like these junior wool handlers at the moment. I'm sort of half pumped up and then fired up as though I'm competing. So it's been a great honour to get the invitation to come up here as an announcer to work along some of these other great announcers here with me. So that's where I am. I used to run a big sheep farm down home, 5,000 ewes, and believe it or not, it's due to a business decision, it's now running 1,200 cows. So I live away down on the bottom coast, so I hope you don't mind the rolling of the R's, a gore and like an orange, and all those sorts of things. So that's a wee bit about me, so you know who I am. Otherwise, back to the board. What do we got here? They're hitting the long blow. Round, this is when they can have that opportunity on this first one to do that big lean out the back there. Okay, to roll that fleece over and do a little bit of that table work early if they choose. And I think Hawkins on the bottom stand's thinking about that. They've had the opportunity to watch these last couple of heats in front to think, oh, okay, how are these fleeces landing? How much air time are they giving them? What are the other wool handlers doing? All those sorts of things. There's a slight advantage in doing it. Whether you take that with you on the board or not is another reason. But here we go. Tumo is going to be the throws.
Catrice had a nice throw, a little bit overhanging. She didn't get the flick right, like you were saying. Oh, these wool handlers, she's fairly even on the tables by the looks of it, Gerald.
Yeah.
But let's see who keeps their composure, because some of these wool handlers, they freak out a little bit and everything just goes to custard. But, if you can keep your composure. And Catrice there, she's just cruising around her table, chewing on the old chutty. thinking ain't no thing. You know, that's a nice relaxed way to be, Gerald.
Yeah, lots of different styles, but like shearing the old sheep. These, some people make it look nice and easy, and others are firing shots here and there and lots of noise and banging and clanging and going on. And the wool handler's the same. I was watching Jadine Patterson there. She's got a real quick hand that she's working around that fleece a wee minute ago. She's got the far side to do yet, so keep an eye on her, folks. Get those little fingers getting round there. In fact, 20 years ago, there used to be a man here called Mousy, I think we called him, because his little fingers were just like a little mouse, and away he went round the fleeces. He's probably not still in the shearing industry, but anyway, he could be for that matter as well. But back to the table they are. Right now, what's happening? Bit of a roll here. Remembering there's a shearer shearing a sheep behind you, girls. Keep an eye on that. Back they go under the watchful eye of the judges. Who we got? Hawkins is on the bottom stand. She's got her table clear. Back she goes. They're onto the last shoulder now. Got to get some action going here, girls. Get those tables cleared. Give them a bit of a shake. Get the second cuts out. Are they happy with it? Patterson is. Who's in for the roll? Price. She's happy. Francis. Tuma. Fleece 2 arriving.
Here we go. Trees turns and throws. Ooh, a bit better throw, a little bit overhanging. Great throw there on table 3. Table number 2, little bit of bunching. Bigger fleece maybe. And we've got that little Isabella down there on table 1. She just floats that fleece up in the air, a little bit overhanging, but not too bad. But at the moment, it looks like she's all happening on table number 3, Jill. This young Jaden Patterson. She looks like she's got it under control.
Yeah, she has. She's just got that little bit of polish going on here. You can see that. She's confident about where it's going to go. She's confident about what she's taking out. And back to the board she goes. She knows she can't miss that, that crutch wool, okay, in round there. That must come out. It could have a wee bit of a dag on it, a wee bit of stain and the likes. Francis goes back from stand 1. Price is the same. All the shearers staying in rhythm as they need to keep it as even as we possibly can for these wool handlers here. Flicking it over. Fleece is still sitting on the table.
I'm just looking at these baskets, Gerald. I think there's 9 of them. We've got the belly wool. We've got brisket wool, frib. We've got a bit of top knot wool. We've got soft wool. We've got locks, so that's the shorter stuff, like around the crutch area. We've got first pieces. That's the stuff from the under the legs and that. And then we've got a bit of neck wool, sort of, as I say, the neck wool. So these poor wool handlers, they've got all these bins to worry about. They've got a judge breathing down their neck, so probably freaking them out as well. And then they've got the shearer he just won't slow down for these wool handlers. But we want to find the best junior wool handlers, so we need to put a bit of pressure on them.
We do that. Here we go. Last and final fleece of this heat. Price throws it. It's a beauty, ladies and gentlemen. A wee bit of bunching it pretty good. No overhang. Francis, the last one just slightly went off target for her, and this one she's thrown straight, but it just hasn't fluffed out at the top end here, as you can see. But back to the table they go. No shearer to worry about now. She's clear the table, clear the floor. Give the table a bang, bit of excitement, bit of noise.
1 minute and 30 seconds from when the shearer pulls the cord on his last sheep is the sealed time. That is the amount of time these wool handlers have got to tidy up. Once they go over that, is 1 point per second. So these wool handlers, you need to be on your game, Gerald. You can't sort of get up there and fart around, fluff around. They don't fart, ladies, they fluff. Yeah, so they can't get up there and fluff around. They need to get stuck in. Clean up their board, get the broom in hand. There's not a lot of second cutted wool underneath the table. So, these cleanups, they shouldn't be much more than 1:40, really.
1, 2.
Here we go. Back onto the brooms they go. This is the interesting thing, ladies and gentlemen, how they can make this broom way bigger than it is by using the ear that the broom creates to sweep the wool at the same time. Okay? As you get a bigger area, especially in a shearing shed situation, they're whoosh, whoosh, and all the ear of the broom is sweeping the wool at the same time. Not so much up here, you're not getting a good view of it because they haven't got enough room to move. But that's what they do. It looks like they've got a super broom in front of them, but it's just all the ear that they're creating at the same time. So exciting. They're back down to the first pieces now, giving that a shake. Giving it a shake, sort of like putting it through a little wee sieve in a way. The wee stuff drops out. Price has got her hand in the air. She's happy with that. Who we got over there? Patterson. Francis is wrapped. Patterson went really well in those tables. Keep her going. Let's encourage her. Come on, Jadine. There we go. Hands in the air.
Just looking under these tables, Gerald, this young wool hand on table 4 would probably have one of the tidiest finishes that we've seen in the juniors so far. You know, this 1 minute 30 seconds is really putting these juniors to the test, and there has been a bit of wool left on the board. If 40 Mason was around, he'd be, ooh, it's a good thing he's asleep. He didn't get home till 6 o'clock this morning.
Okay, fellas, thank you very much. Heat 5, please. Competitors take the stands now. Conan Gray, Credence Coldshaw, Nikoi Pethua, Sarah O'Donnell. Heat 6, Brooke Birch, Chanel Kawana, Erica Reti, Shanae Flutie. Heat 7, Kiriana Brown, Linton Palmer, Liv Gardner, Naira Puha. 9 heats in this competition, ladies and gentlemen. 3 competition fleeces to sort.
Rick. Morning, Rick.
Good morning.
Kia ora. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go along with the wool pressing, the men's singles wool pressing. While those wool handlers are getting themselves organised, we got Tane Matiaha, and the other competitor is Tumanako Waikare. So heat 2 will be Jay Gudja and W. Killion. So we're going to get underway, boys, and we'll get this pressing started, and then you'll be able to get back to the wool handling.
Just a quick call, please. Novice wool handlers and junior shearers, or junior and novice shearing. Any late entries, make sure you get them in now, please. Any late entries in the novice wool handling and shearing and junior shearing, make sure you get them in now, please. If you want to shear in these events, we need your name up there and your money in the bank.
Gee, those late entry people are dumb, aren't they, Rick? They pay a surcharge for turning up late. It's a real... Well, I suppose that's our people, though. They wake up in the morning and they say, oh, geez, I think I'm going to the Golden Shears.
Spontaneity, mate. Spontaneity.
We're going to get underway. Pressmen ready. 160 kilograms is the desired weight. Anything over and above is penalised accordingly. There is a huge emphasis on safety. And we will pull you up, you pressmen. If we see you're going to get into a lot of trouble, somebody will tap you on the shoulder and help you, correct you, because we want to be able to look after this machinery. Timekeepers are ready. The wool pressing men's singles is about to get underway, ladies and gentlemen. 2 minutes. Malcolm, I'm gone. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2.
Can we have our shearers to the board? We might get this heat started on the wool handling first.
You go.
Timekeepers ready. Shearers, get set, go.
Okay, we're back with the pressman. That's the wool handling. 160 kilograms, guys, and if we see you getting into a spot of bother, somebody will help you, correct you, so we don't wreck the machinery. Pressmen, on your marks, get set, go. Back to you, boys. We'll get underway with the wool pressing. Give us a couple of moments, and then we'll come back to us.
Beautiful. Thanks, Cora. Here we go. Back to the front. We've got action happening here at the Golden Shears at both ends of the stadium. Pressers back there, junior wool handlers on the front. Who we got? We've got Gray on stand 1. Corshaw 2. We have to call it stand 3, missing the name there, and Sarah O'Donnell on the bottom stand down there. This is the easy part still, to get as much as they possibly can done. This can still set them up here, folks, if they get this fleece you know, all the little bits done, get the board like Conan is right here on the front stand, Mr. Gray. Get the board as clean as you possibly can. That's going to give you the head start, that momentum to get it off the table really quickly. Get as much done now. We're on the first sheet. We've got no table to deal with. We can get 100% focused just on that fleece on the board. Okay, as they're starting to roll out down the money side and right out the toenails now goes the shearer. That's got to come off. The wool handler's got to get that out of the way. Toma. Fleeces to the table.
We got a rose amongst the thorns down there, table one. He turns and throws. Woo! Holy pretty nail short down there on table two. Not just you, buddy. Look at this. This is a step up, Gerald.
This is a step up, Tuma. Brilliant. See this one here, Gray. It's a beautiful throw. Look at him go, ladies and gentlemen. Talking about really working those fingers. Round he goes. Happy with it. Searching. Got the eyes going. The fingers looking.
That's the beauty of having a good throw, because the pieces that you have to pull out are usually right along the side of the table, Gerald.
Yep, back to the crutch ball they go now. Bit of a shake. O'Donnell on the bottom stand, giving it a bit of a shake. Get those short little bits out. They've got to fall through that table, that grating. The undermine, they know that's nice and clean. You see that wee bit there, that what they call the undermine in the shearing industry, where they fire those two big shots up the back. Normally under 99% of the circumstances, that will be clean wool. Okay, so they get the crutch wool out of the way. They know that's clean. They just sit that in there. Back to the table as they go. And back they have O'Donnell on the bottom stand. Flicks it over. Round the sides. Starting to get a bit of noise out of the audience now too, Toma.
They certainly are. Look at this Sahara down here on table four. She's got her fleece rolled up. It's in the fan. She's like, bring it on. Back to the shearer. She runs, get that cheek wool. Once your cheek wool's taken out, then she'll start setting up the fleece to get it thrown on the table. Look at these other wool handlers. Grey down there, table one, rolling up. Come on, you other two. Coleshaw, Pitua. We need you fellas up, because here come the shearers. Here comes another fleece, Gerald.
Oh, look. We had a wee meeting last night, you know. By jolly, we had a meeting, and I said to Koro, I said, you know, should we do announcing rather than we'll just tell stories? But you can't help but get involved here. There's action, and here we are in the junior wool handling. And we're already getting heavily involved and starting to get heated up as the heats are starting to move their way through. Fleece two on the table. To work they go, around the sides. O'Donnell, a little bit hanging over. She starts trying to pull that up so she can get a good look at it. Flicks it over, gives it that shake again. Gray on the front stand. Tuma, back to the board goes Gray.
Gray, the rose amongst the thorns in this heat. Look at these shearers all on the undermine. Wool handlers right there with them. Some of these wool handlers, they do the undermine and then they'll go back and frib their bellies. Others do it the other way around. They like to grab the belly first. But you know, with the pressure that these wool handlers have put on each other, no one else has done it. These wool handlers have put it on each other because they all had such good throws the first one. And I think they thought that it would just come naturally, Jill.
Yeah, that's right. You're talking about going with the shearer. You get those wool handlers, as they develop further and further down the line, they'll do what's commonly known in full fleece like this, where they feed the wool, and that's when they're right with the shearer, basically skirting the fleece and feeding the wool as they go. As it's falling off, they're following the handpiece right in behind it all the time. You'll see it in world record situations of full wool, where the wool handler will feed the wool all day as they bang the tables again. But not at this stage. It's not about feeding wool right here. It's just about getting the job done and getting it done right and getting it done quickly. Back to the board. All tables clear. Last and final fleece to arrive. Down on the bottom stand, O'Donnell's got hers out. Patao. Gray, a difficult one to throw, but did a good job. Corshaw, bit of bunching at the top. Boards are clear. Sweeping it onto the floor. They've got the table left and the floor to do. Tuma, what are you thinking?
1 minute and 30 seconds is what I'm thinking. Well, it's probably more like 1 minute 10 now. So these wool handlers just looking at this. Sarah down here on table number 4. Very, very loose fleece, but it doesn't look like there's a lot of first pieces to pull out of it. So she'll be rolling up. Here she goes. She'll be putting the pressure on. We got Gray down there on table number 1. Come on, mate, you need to push it along because 1 minute 30 is not a lot of time. A little bit of a bang here from Sarah on table 4. A little bit, maybe as a polite bang. These wool handlers lift the table off the stage and throw it down. Let's see these second pieces and blocks fall to the floor.
Tama, I'll just interrupt for a moment. Could I have these competitors up at the front desk, please? Ash Boyce, Ash Boyle, I think, Jas Marie Hogg, Brogan Riwai, Robin O'Donnell. They're the first heat competitors in this junior competition. Could we have those competitors up here, please?
Down here in the wool pressing, we've got the top box on there for Tane, going pretty well. Tumanaka here is on the north side, and he's just struggling a little bit to get enough wool in there. Around about 160 odd kilos we're looking to put into these bales, but it's all happening here in the pressing at the moment. Getting ready for a wind up on the south side. Looking pretty good. How do you see it, Hugh? Has he got a nice tidy job there?
Yeah, no, we've just started on the cranking down here on press number 1. This top box being pulled down. These presses are working hard. The presses, of course, are some of the hardest workers in the shed. They've got to start earlier than everybody filling those pens. Keep the pens full for the shearers all day. And then they've got to keep pressing the bales as well. So they're very, very hard workers. I'm very, very underrated in the shearing industry. So it's great to see these 2 young pressers now, John, giving it a good go on these 2 presses.
Well, I always call it quality control, because anything the wool handle misses, the presser's got to get before he winds it up. So they're doing a marvellous job here. Great part of the industry. Powerful young gentlemen. Hey, let's hear the old clicker going shortly. Handle about to be cranked down on the south side now.
Where's our next heat, Rick?
Oh, thanks, mate. Next heat 6, please. Competitors on the board. Brooke Birch, Chanel Koana, Erica Rihi, Shanae Flutie. Those competitors on the board now, please. Heat 7, Kiriana Brown, Linton Palmer, Liv Gardner, Naira Puha. Heat 8, Tameki Hima, Cam Hicks, Tiana Graham, and Paige Parks.
So we're on the crank now while they're getting ready for the next wool handling section. Look at him go. Winding it off now down here. Tumanaka's about halfway down. 2/3 of the way down there's Tane. He stopped for a bit of a breather now. Racing around with the broom. Tidy work area is what's required. So there's no mistakes, no injuries. Now they're pumping down. They don't want to get under the handle either. That'll hit them on the head. Tumanaka now back on the broom. He's gasping for breath a little bit. You try and press a bale in about 7 or 8 minutes, by golly. Hey, you've got your work really cut out. All back on the handle now. Hugh looks at, hey, who's your favourite at this stage?
It's hard to pick between these 2 young fellas at the minute. They're both working very hard. Brooms have gone down now. Just finishing off the pressing here on press 1.
Shearers to the board. Shearers to the board, please.
So they're still on the crank down here, Tuma. They're working very hard. You can see the sweat is starting to glisten on these 2 young fellas up the back here. And it looks like the press is finished. The top box being swung back round here on press number 1. So these 2 boys working hard, Tuma. And I can see you've got your wool handlers ready to go.
Yes, we are ready to go. We're just waiting on the green light. But competitors, there's to be no coaching. Okay, if you're receiving coaching and the judge sees or hears, you'll be penalised. Okay, so have it all sorted out in your head. When you get up there and set your baskets up, have a little piece of paper with you so you know where everything's going. She's pretty serious business. Saturday morning, I think, is when the semi-finalists compete again for this junior wool handling. I'm not sure how many they're taking through, whether it's 12 or 18. But Cheryl, you're just waiting on the green light.
Oh, while they're waiting on the green light here, we're going to be back into the pressing. Look at us, getting ready to put the pins in here. Tane on the south side, press number 1. Be closely watched by the judges there. Make sure he's using all the appropriate safety methods. 5 pins to put into it. In he goes now, Tumanaka here on the number 2 box. Good strong left arm of him. Punches are true. Pulls the fadge tight on the other side. Got that one right through now. There's no chance that's going to slip out. Quite difficult sometimes when the wool gets on the end of the pin to actually fire it through that pack.
Yeah, that's when those big arms come into play, of course, and you can see these presses. Big, powerful, muscly fellas, John. Working hard. They both got the pins in now. How are you sitting down there, Tom? Are you ready to go?
He's got a double. He's away now.
Timekeeper's ready. Shearers, no, we're still waiting.
I think you've got a green light. So these presses in while we're still waiting for Tuma to start. These presses now just releasing off the pressure here on press number 1 and on press number 2, John.
Yeah, I think Tumanaka's slightly ahead at this stage. He's got a little bit of a run on at the moment. Those ropes are very hard to put onto the catch on those on the drums, but he's got it all sussed. Caps off now, getting ready to pin her up.
Back down here in the shearing. Can we have your shearers ready? Yep.
Right.
Okay, timekeeper's ready. Shearers, get set, go. Just with this new scoring system that we're using for the wool handling, there will be a few minor issues that will come up, but I mean, to move ahead sometimes, you know, it takes a little bit. But pretty innovative stuff here, Gerald, at the Golden Shears.
Yeah, definitely so. Let's keep an eye on this little board up here. The other interesting thing while we're settling into this heat, of course, is our number of entries. Of course, this is gives us an idea or an indication of the industry as a whole, of the ones that are coming through. And we've now just rattled out 8 heats of the junior wool handling. 8 fours, 32. That's, I know it is the Golden Shears and it is the pinnacle of wool handling and shearing. However, they've arrived here, converged on this place on Thursday morning to really hook in, and the numbers are terrific. So it says a whole lot that the industry's still in a very strong place when you've got junior wool handlers of these number, and also hopefully junior shearers turning up like that as well in Novice. So it's all good. Back to the board. Who we got? We got Birch on 1. They're just doing that, feeling their way in. Not a lot of action just happening yet. Koana's on 2. Riti's on 3. And on the bottom stand there is Flutie.
Well, Gerald, sorry to butt in, but we're just about to get to the finish here on the pressing. These two boys have got the bales coming out. Tane just writing up the correct information on that press. And up goes his hand on table number 1.
Right, back to the board. Tuma. How are we going? All there. Bit of bunching on the bottom stand. To the board they go. The board is clear. The shearers are back out. Now, once again, back onto the sides of those fleeces.
Well, just looking down these tables, on table number 4, a very little fleece. Table number 1 looks like a ram fleece. You know, I don't know what's going on, but it looks like the bigger fleeces seem to be coming down your end of the board, down table 1.
Yeah, those big ones like it down this end. The joys they've got is that when they're bunching that up on the board, you'll see them taking their time to make sure they're getting it dead right before they decide to pull it into their chest and then going to be doing the big throw. They get a fair idea of the weight and the ability for it to hold together for them. And they make that judgment call on the spot under the watchful eye of their judges, and some of their judges will be their idols, and of course 150 odd people in front of their friends and whānau on the like. So there's a fair bit of pressure on these young wool handlers, so don't be frightened to encourage them and try to bring the best out of them. We want to see them in the semis, they want to make the semis. In some cases you only get one smack at this grade, and it's all on here today, and it can be a bit like semi-final and final rugby. She's on the day sort of stuff, and you don't turn up. Oh, she's a done job, and you kick yourself for the next wee while. So let's get in behind them and make sure that you encourage them along. As Birch back to the table and back to the board, and her table's clear. Kawana, table's clear there. Riti running back to the board. Come on, Riti.
Yeah, we'll just interrupt here in the pressing. We just had the first bail weighed, and Tumanaka's bail weighed 180.5. Now, I'm not sure where the scales are correct because Koro Mullins just jumped on them and upset them, but I presume that they are spot on. We're just getting the second bail weighed now from Tane, and he has gone for a 163.5.
Right, Flutie on the bottom stand. Bit of a back upper wall there. Getting walled in, as they call it in the shearing industry. Not wool away, but walled in. Stay focused, Flutie on the bottom stand. That's it. Get that, those little wee bits from around that tail wall. Get them clear. Back to the table now. How are the rest going? Birch, not easy being up there, and definitely not easy for commentators giving you a bit of a hurry up at the same time. They don't really need that in the junior grade. But here we are. Back to the tail. Flutie goes. Flicks it clear. Come on, let's give her some encouragement. Birch clears the table. Picks those last little bits off. She's happy with the fleece wool there. Back to the shear again. The wool's still coming at you. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not quite as easy as it might look. And in the shearing shed, this is what they do. They'll be under the watchful eye of the head rousey or the head wool handler as they get coached day to day in the aspects of like shed shearing, where the shearers are travelling at a huge speed, and they'll have experienced wool handlers around them all the time. They get paid per hour, and they've got to go as fast as the shearing gang's going. Flutie, one on the table, one on the board. You can leave that sitting on the board. You'll see some of the experienced ones do that for a wee bit.
Down here on table number 4, this young lady, she knows that the quality points where they hit the hardest throughout the back, so she's really taken every little piece of oddment wool out of that fleece. She's got it under control, Jill. She's got it under control.
Yes, you'll see them. It's not the first time they leave the fleece sitting when they know it's the last sheep, whether it be 3 sheep for the competition of 5. They know the shearer's not coming out in this case, but like an end to a run. Okay, we can leave it sitting there. The boys are finished. It's smoko time. The press has got the kettle boiling and the tea made, and it's just tidy up. And tidy up, that's what we're on to. Brooms in hand, Birch, Kawana. Riti under the table. Really fit, these wool handlers, really fit people. You've got to be fit to be in the shearing industry as a whole, I can tell you that. You can't be, you can't have a poor constitution or be carrying an injury. You've got to be on your game, your A game. The last tidy up. Tumo, what are you thinking?
I'm just watching this young lady down here on table number 4. Very composed, very composed. Time points, they do have their place, but, like I say, you can lose 100 points, 200 points just in your fleece out the back. Mm-hmm. So I think that's her plan of attack. She would have been talking to a few people before she got up and competed, people that have done it before, and they would have said to her, what are your strengths? Well, my strengths are getting all the oddmans out. Okay, well, if it takes you 5 minutes, it takes you 5 minutes. That's just how it goes. But here we go. She's got the broom in hand now. Just cruising along, making wool handling look like an easy job. It is a fairly easy job in the ground. Easier than pressing anyway. Down the other end of the arena, I don't know about that job.
Well,
we're just going to line up and get these presses ready.
If you want him,
Willie, come on, boys.
You're asking about the presser. You're looking for one of the hardest jobs you can do in the shearing industry is that pressing. One of the main reasons for that is literally you cannot and do not set the pace. A shearer can have a lazier sort of day if they want, where they're thinking, oh, this is day 20 or whatever it might be. I'm just starting to hit the wall a wee bit. Instead of pumping out 300, I'll do 270. The presser doesn't have that advantage, okay? He's just got to match what's happening on the board every day. They have the meals to cook, they have the dog to take care of, all the smokers to organise, the pen, to pen up and all these sorts of things. And she's a very, very busy job. You've got to be strong and you've got to be highly organised to pull it off. But there's lots of very good pressers around. And hey, a lot of junior shearers and novice shearers start on the press.
Okay, fellas. That concludes Heat 6 of our wool handling. Heat 7, competitors up on the table, ready to go, please. Kiriana Brown, Linton Palmer, Liv Gardner, Naira Puha. Heat 8, Tamika Hema, Cam Hicks, Tiana Graham, Paige Parks. And Heat 9, Pikatai Puna, Tina Pafanua, and Sam Tupini.
Okay, thanks, Rick. Okay, we'll get this second heat of the wool pressing underway if the presses are ready to go. Okay, gentlemen. Presses, on your marks. Get set. Go. So we've got William Killian here on press number 2. William Killian on press number 2, and then Jeremy Goodyear on press number 1.
Shearers to the board.
Jeremy, of course, has won this Golden Shears 20 times now, so he knows his way around.
Timekeepers ready. Wool buddies off the board. No coaching, please. No coaching. You senior wool handlers. Timekeepers ready. Shearers, get set, go. Here we're going to need to keep pumping these wool handling along. We were, I think, 20 minutes late in starting.
We'll make it up, don't worry about that.
Welsh time. Welsh time.
That's what they call Irish time. Get used to it, ready for the world champs. Now, this microphone's working at the minute, but we'll see if it'll carry on. So with 2 presses now, then they're well into their work. The fadges have gone into the presses, and then these big arms of these presses are working very hard. Look at them, they're like JCBs when they scoop this wool up, aren't they, John? They take armfuls of it when they stuff it in that press.
Yeah, massive, all right. Look at him go. We've got Willie here on the north side. He's on press number 2. He's chucked his hat off already. He's going to be pumping it. Look at that massive big armful. Jeremy, a very experienced presser down there. He's riding up with the go at the moment. Look at that. Right down below his ankles, he pulls that big 25 kilos of wool just stuck into the press in one armful.
You know, these presses are going well up here. Tim, how are you getting on with the wool handling down there?
Well, these shearers are working away on the long blow. I think these shearers, I think you might have just buttoned off a little bit. We need to keep the pace the same. So keep pushing it along, guys. But these wool handlers, they're getting about their business very comfortably. I said we got Linton Palmer on table number 2. I think he'll be competing in this wool handling for the triathlon. That's what we spoke about a bit earlier. First throw down there, table 1, lovely. Linton's throw, I don't know about that one, Linton. Nice throw here on 4. A little bit overhanging. So we've got a bit of beauty in the beast up there at the moment, Graham, on the tables. There's some beauties and then there's some beasts.
Well, these presses are still working hard. They've both been in their boxes, shredding that wool in, and then they go back and get another big armful. They're both working away. They're pretty close together as well by the look of it.
I think there's more press in box number 1 at the moment. There's less on the floor. Hey, that's a bit of an indication. Jerry's putting the pressure on now. I think he's getting down to about 2 kilo handfuls as he pumps those arms down into the side of the press and make sure it goes down also nice and even so the bale comes out nice and flat on top.
Yeah, well, he's won this 20 times, of course. His young brother is starting to put a bit of pressure on him, though. And then there's a lot of young and up-and-coming presses really putting the pressure on. So we got the cap on here on press number 1. caps John on press number 2 as well, John. So, like I said, they're pretty even. They're pretty close together, aren't they?
Yeah, it's very close together. They battled it out here over the last 12 months. They're back here again, giving us a demonstration of their prowess. Look at the big arms coming in from Willie. He says, I need quite a bit more on that bottom box now. Little shake of a handful goes in there for Jeremy. He said a little bit in that corner. I think I'm just about ready to put the box up, he says. Here comes the crank handle. I think Willie might just need a little bit more on this side.
Oh, she's a good throw by Brown. Stand 1 here. Palmer. In for the triathlon. Flicks it up, a little bit of bunching back to the board. He goes. He knows all about that. He'll be in the shearing later on, next couple of days as well. Gardner, a little bit hanging over on this side here. Don't be too heavy with that, but it will make do at the moment. It's there, it's there. That's just how it's panning out. That's how it's rolling at the moment. So we'll just make do. Down on the bottom stand. Back to the board they go. The belly wall's out the back. That's when they get that wee brisket wall. The wee short, tight, curly stuff that's sort of on the brisket there. So yeah, that sort of comes out. Then you've got the longer, better belly wall. So there's 2 departments just in the belly. So lots of departments to be sorted. 9 in total. Tables full of fleece wool and no one there at the moment. But the shearers are now up the neck, so they'll be making their way back soon when the shearers open that sheep up. A lot of the corners are done and they'll work their way around to the long blow, and that's the time they'll start coming back to the table, and so they have. Brown's back there. She's happy. She goes for the roll. Puha, she's done the roll on the bottom stand down there. Flicking it over is Gardner. Bit of a chuck at the table by Brown. How's Palmer going? He must have some shearing buddies in here, hasn't he? Come on, Linton, you've been up here before, normally on the shearing board, but here he is, Woolhandling. What a great way to get them involved by creating this triathlon. What's happening down on the wall pressing? There'll be heaps of noise anyway.
Jeremy's just picked up his broom now and he's just flicking a bit of wool out the way, keeping this working surface area as clean and as tidy as he can. He's cranked down, he's just having a bit of a breather just to get the old ticker a bit of rest, and he's just flicking that wool out the way. He's pulled the pins off the top of his box. Now he's picking up the other pins and he's backed onto that crank handle. How's young Willie going down there on press number 2, John?
He's a little bit back off the pace, eh? You feel the big brothers now just, he put that press down with one arm almost, wound it down, just crank, not a stop at all. Here goes Willie though, he's 2/3 of the way down, working hard, gasping for air. Right about now, he probably might have to shoot off and do a bale weight, just do the capping. No, he's going to carry on, and the lungs are burning now as he's driving it down. He's got about 50 mil to go, and he's going to let the top box off and do a bit of a tidy up. Maybe he needs to get onto the broom before he puts the thing down. Who knows? What's he thinking at this stage? Jolly big brother, look at him go. He's pushing the pins in there, Hugo.
Yeah, and he's pushing these pins in there. Doesn't look as if he's using any effort. The power in his arms. Those pins are just coming straight out the far end. So how are you getting on with the wool handling down there, Tubber?
Well, we've got the clean-up down here in the wool handling. Been watching this young lady Puha down here on table number 4. She's had some pretty good throws. Didn't look like she was over-skirting at all, so I think she's got a real good chance of making it through into that semi-final Saturday morning. But hey, I'm no judge. Well, mind you, I think I'm a judge sometimes, Graham.
Yeah, no harm in that. Take note of these points up above here, ladies and gentlemen. They're raising their hands for wrapping up. Brown, I was going to mention before I looked up there, I'm not used to doing that with wool handling because we don't normally have it. But very good tool for the audience and announcers for that as well. But Brown did those last 2 fleeces she threw to the table were tremendous. They landed exactly as she wanted them, which is now's not a better time to achieve that. And at the moment, without the outside points being involved, 59.1. So looking good there. Linton Palmer with 115. Having a bit of a smile. Yeah, everyone knows now Linton is still going up. Sorry, buddies. It's got a bit of a run on here. It's coming with a big finish that you're probably not too keen on. With a 1-2-7 still going. That's one part. He'll be the, it is a triathlon, so it's the, just like a normal triathlon of swimming and running and biking, you have your strengths, and Linton Palmer, of course, will be on the board when it comes to the shearing.
Well, Gerald, we're just getting to the end here on this second heat of the pressing. Jeremy Goodyear flicked that door open, and he's just having a last look around his press. Just having a good look. How are you getting on there, John?
Oh, a little bit of the hand up there from Jerry. He's finished, so his time's been taken. There, young Willie, still got a little bit of work to do. Still got the clips to put in. Hey, gasping. How did that big fella get it done so easy? Just looked up like he was gliding along. 160 kilos we're looking for.
Who's up next, Rick?
Yeah, thanks, fellas. Heat 8, please, on the board. Tamika Hema, Cam Hicks, Tiana Graham, and Paige Parks. Just a call, please. All novice wool handlers. Novice wool handlers, we'll have you up here now, please, for a T-shirt. Make sure you report in immediately. Novice wool handlers. You'll be your event will be run straight after the junior event's finished.
While I was discussing the amount of heats we've got, we're now up to 10 heats. That's just fantastic from a committee point of view. We put on these shows. There's a tremendous amount of work goes into these shows. We've got the green light already. Is that for the heat coming? Are we good? A fantastic amount of work goes into these shows, and just great for the industry as a whole. To give you a bit of an idea, ladies and gentlemen, there's at least 5 for every competitor, whether it be 6 shearers or 4 wool handlers and 2 pressers. Okay, there's 5 voluntary administrators around each and every one of them to make this work. So competitors, don't be frightened to thank the judges and the likes. They've travelled a long way. They're all honoured to be at the Golden Shears and to be invited. However, they're taking time out of their busy week. They've all got businesses to run to come here voluntary to help you with your shearing and give back to the shearing industry as a whole.
Shearers to the board. Timekeepers ready.
Oh, sorry.
Shearers, get set, go. Tamika Hema, Cam Hicks, Tiana Graham, Paige Parks. These have got a huge field here today, Gerald. Like these wool handlers, it's awesome to see.
Awesome to see, yeah. You can't stress it enough when it mightn't mean as much to the audience here, but when you're involved in committees and involved in running shows, you like this as a committee member when you put on a show and all the effort that goes into sorting the sheep and getting the stage up and all the paperwork and all the admin that goes on, for them to turn up and support your show. And of course you are doing it for the industry as a whole. So it says it's in a very strong, durable state, and we like that. Even though there's been massive changes, as we're all fully aware, in land use in New Zealand, from away from sheep due to financial reasons, and whatever's leading that, I don't know. I'm not here to do that, but towards dairy support and dairy farming as a whole, especially in the South Island. So sheep numbers declining, but nature as a whole will find a balance here soon. And it'll settle down, and supply and demand hopefully will run this show. Nothing better than, a lamb roast, is there? So hopefully supply and demand, because the numbers have dropped dramatically due to the dairy influx, and the prices will come up and it will stabilise. So exciting times for the shearing industry.
Yeah, we have a couple of bale weights down here. 159.5 for Jeremy. And Willie was 156.5, so Jeremy pretty much on the button there on the 160 target weight.
Well, just looking here on table number 2, Cam Hicks has got a little bit of bunching sort of at the top end of his table, but not a bad throw. I was just looking at it before, Graham, like you've got Tamika on table 1 and you've got Cam on table 2. because he's so tall, do you think that he should be penalised points because he can reach places that she can't? It's a bit of an unfair advantage, really, isn't it? It's a bit unfair.
Yeah. Are you asking my opinion here?
Sorry, Gerald. While we're still waiting.
Don't apologise, you get me out of a sticky position.
We're waiting for Lee Edmonds and Jock Hawkins. Lee Edmonds and Jock Hawkins, please.
Yeah, but Cam Hicks definitely got a big wingspan there. He can reach right up and over and around. As the fleeces are, this will be fleece number 1 sitting on the table. Once again, as that shearer heads round towards the long blow, back to the tables they go.
Yeah, just excuse me, Lee Edmonds and Jock Hawkins, please. Lee Edmonds and Jock Hawkins to the pressing arena.
Great time for a swivel chair at the moment with the pressing behind us and the wool handling in front. A good game's a fast game and action it is here at the Golden Shears. Beautiful. Right. Cam Hicks with the big long arms. Fleece number 1. Happy with that. Into the number 1 fleece line. Away to the carpet factory. Back to the board he goes. Starting to roll it over. Getting it lined up for the second one. Hema. Stand 1. Throws over. Oh, a lot hanging for Hicks there. We won't too happy with that. A lot of bunching done for Hema. Fleece to the side for Graham and stand 3. Still got 1 sitting on the table. What's happening? Parks on the bottom stand. A wee bit of hanging over, but she's not worried about that. She just goes to work with what needs to be done. That's how it is at the moment. That's how it's rolling. Round to the top. She goes to the top of the table. What's happening behind us at the pressing here? Still getting organised. Back to the junior wool handling. Oh, action apiece.
All these shearers are putting a lot of pressure on these wool handlers, but that's what we want. We want to see the best wool handlers go through into the semi-finals, and this is really testing them. Up the neck go these shearers. Page down here on table number 4, working their way around the side of the fleece. Not a lot of pieces there, Page. You're looking too hard. Then we've got these other wool handlers, that Cam Hicks. How's that Cam Hicks going on over there, Graham? The tall boy.
Good. Bit of hanging there, but back he goes. You can see he's thinking. He's even breathing quite hard. I don't think it's physical energy. I think it's mental energy that he's burning up at the moment, thinking, oh, what do I take? Will I take that? Will I not? Chucks that up, rolls it over. Judge having a good look what's happening under the table, what's happening on top, but he's happy and he goes for the roll. Roll's happening for Parks as well. Stand 4. Back to the table goes Graham. Swinging round. Press is still getting organised. Third and final fleece arriving. Come on, Graham, let's clear that table. That's the girl. Fleece is on. Oh, a good throw for Hemi on front stand. Parks does a similar one. Beautiful one by Hicks. He's come in with a big belated finish. Look at that for a throw, ladies and gentlemen. Spot on the button. He likes it. Give us a smile, Mr. Hicks. That's a story by Jolly. Hasn't got much work to do either.
Watching this girl, Paige, on table number 4, zipping around the table. She's got a bit of grunt here. You can see she's got a bit of a bounce in her step. So she's a very, very good young competitor. Here she goes. Fleece into the fage. She's just like her mother. Here she goes, bouncing around. We got Cam Hicks there on table 2. Come on, Cam, you had the best throw and you're getting left behind, mate. Because this girl, Paige Parks, on table 4. She is into a grab. She's got the brim in hand. Here she goes. It's like a whirlwind down here. Back to the wool handling here. This young girl on table number 4. She's about to put her hand up. She's had a very, very quick clean-up. What are we looking at? Time points are not up there. Have a look around. Make sure everything's in where it's supposed to be. There we go. Time on table 4. Tamika down there on table number 1. She's just finishing off as well. Cam Hicks. Come on, Cam. Let's go, mate. We need to keep those time points down for that triathlon.
Okay, Tuma, we're ready to start the third heat of this, the men's pressing. So if you're ready, pressers, on your marks, get set, go. So if you want to carry on, and we'll come back to
Graham. Hicks, making sure he's getting everything right under the leg of the table there. Graham, broom onto the table. Cam Hicks is happy with that. That was a tremendous throw he threw on that third fleece. Absolutely perfect. And Graham, just those second pieces. Down she goes, and hands in the air. That's that heat wrapped up too, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for the applause. It's not an easy position to be in up there, having a go as a junior.
Well, down here in the pressing, we've got another Goodyear. Big, powerful young James, and he's got a mountain of wool on each armful. He's up against Declan Morgan down on the south end, the number 1 press. And I think Goodyear, he's slightly ahead. He can reach over there and put those bottom pins in the top box without even leaving the floor. Long Inspector Gadget arms on him. Yet to put his pack in for the bottom box, but he's working away. He's going to get a little bit of a break. He's going to pump this top box full first and then get on with the putting the pack into the main box of the press. He's doing, it looks like poetry in motion. He's been watching Big Jeremy go in the last one. He says, righto, I can copy that. Just keep trucking along. Don't get flustered. Declan's yet to put any wool on the press, so he's a little bit behind the 8 ball, I suggest, at this stage, Hugh.
Yeah, no, they're going well at the minute. Into that top box, he's pressing that wool. Big armfuls going in here on press number 1 as well. I think this is Declan here on stand on press number 1. Big armfuls of wool. These presses have got to work very, very hard, as we've been saying. They've got to be the first there in the morning to keep those pens full. And then the last to finish at night as well, because they've got to make sure that all that wool is pressed up. The shed is nice and clean before they finish. So they're really working hard now, these big presses down here. Working very, very hard and making it look very easy as well, John.
Well, I don't know about easy, you know. I think back to the times when I had to press a few bales of wool. You get round to putting down crank down the handle and you think you're near the end of the bale, but you're that gasping for air that much that you're just pleased to get that last notch in and get the clips in and drop it on the floor, and then damn me days, there'll be another one ready to come in. So there's, as you say, they work all day. Not the 9-hour days go in these years like it used to, but he noticed James here, he didn't want that little bit of wool on the top. He thought a little bit in that bottom left-hand corner, and he's got it sussed now. Here goes the cap on. Still got a lot of wool to put in. He wants about 90 odd kilos in the steel bottom box.
Shears to the board. Just 3 competitors as a Rick, 1, 2 and 3.
That's right, Tuma. Final heat, apart from we require the competitors in the first heat to run again, which will be straight after this heat.
We're only running 3. Sam, you might need to move down.
Just any competitors, please, in the novice wool handling that haven't reported in. Paige Chase, Terekino Peneha, Sarah Jane Reid. If those competitors are in the stadium, can you report in now, please? We need to know you're here.
Just watching James here in the pressing, he was meticulous how he's strapping that pack down onto the press. Very important to get it all nice and square, so when the bale pops out on the board, that all the corners are at 90 degrees. He's just showing the professional side of the game. It's not all rush and bustle, it's use the old top 2 inches, and that's where it's going to win him or maybe get him through to the next round. Going pretty well down there, getting pretty tidy floor, Tuma. You're not too far away. You and Gerald seem to be keeping those wool handlers ticking along.
Yeah, either that or they're keeping us going. We're just waiting on the green light. We've got a bit of a flash. There we go. Tuma, we're good to go, mate.
Timekeepers ready. This is tables 1, 2 and 3. There's nobody on 4. Shearers. Get set, go.
Underway.
We said a bit of confusion there, but she's all sorted now.
We're all good. Plenty of action. I'll just remind everyone, it is a smoke-free stadium and smoke-free grounds. Okay. Once again, smoke-free stadium, smoke-free grounds. So if you were really craving a smoke, go beyond the grounds of the stadium, please. If you want some advice on trying to give up on the lights, you'll see there is a smoke-free tent out here. Okay, so go and see the girls there if you want some advice on thinking it's costing too much money and not serving my health. Go and see the girls out there and they'll give you some advice there. Otherwise, smoke-free grounds and stadium. Rightio, talking about keeping fit and keeping healthy, that's what you got to do if you're shearing or in the shearing industry, pressing, wool handling or shearing. And right at the moment we've got two of those going. We've got the pressers out the back and the junior wool handlers up the front. We're up to about heat number 8, I think, with a couple more to go in the junior wool handling. Massive support here this year for the Golden Shears, as always.
Yeah, Gerald, we're going well here at the pressing. Declan here's on press number 1. Just putting the holders on there, ready to pull that cap down. The top box being swung around by James Goodyear there on press number 2. These presses are working very, very hard. They're keeping their quality right. Swing this broom around, make sure that the working area is nice and clean, as we've seen all the way along the line. And these boys are working hard. Woo. So they're really going for it now, John.
That sneaky little throw here by Pooner on stand 1. Did you see that, ladies and gentlemen, for a junior? He snuck round the side of the table and sort of lay it down like a little rug. He didn't actually give it ear time from the bottom of the table. He snuck round the side and lay it down there. Landed perfectly for him. A wee bit hanging over that far side there, but all good. Right, now, bit of action time. Shearer shearing a sheep and wool sitting on the table. Back they go.
Well, we've got some new spectators just entered the area here now. We've got Lakeview School here in the blue shirts, and we've got Carterton Preschool. Hey, there might be some budding pressers and shearers and wool handlers in that group as the years go down. Oh, on the crank down on box number 1. Going pretty good. I thought he was a bit back off the pace, but he's got slightly ahead of young James here on the box number 2. In comes the powerful arms from James. Look at this man go, kids. He's just checking. Have I got everything right? Yes, it's all lined up. The stars are lined up with Venus, and I'm away.
Yeah, they're working very hard here, cranking away. It's a great time for these young children to come in from the local schools. Bit of pressing going on there.
Yeah.
But James has just lost a holder there off his press. He just settled down, puts it right, and he's back into it again. So Declan now then just been doing over there, doing a little bit of paperwork. Now he's just putting that final bit of pressure on. Really working hard. You can see every muscle here just working hard. And how are you going on the wool down there, Gerald?
Yeah, well, just the interesting thing, talking about muscle, Hugh, that, you know, if you're a physio or understand the body, you have big trunk muscles up your back, you know, up each side of your back. You see these boys in the actual shearing domain, because they normally get their singlet off as they're getting hot and real busy during the day. You'll never see another individual with trunk muscles like you do these pressers. Man, they have a big row of muscles up their back. Very strong back and really strongly stabilised due to pulling down those one-man presses. A whack, whack, whack. Really strong. It's something a physio would normally try to develop for you if you've got a sore back, you know, to stabilise you and strengthen you up with those trunk muscles. But by jolly, there's no presser needs to do that, I can tell you that nowadays. They are super strong up there. Meanwhile, back to the front. What is going on? This will be Fleece 2 sitting here. Where is my main man? I haven't heard from him for a while. Tuma, you're out
here
there.
by table number 1 watching Piquetai.
Ah, there you go.
He looks like he's been well trained. You can just tell the ones that have just got that little bit more precision about them. And this young guy looks like, you know, he's one of those ones. Flicking the wool up in the air like it's $1 million, and it is worth over $1 million. This stuff that these guys are working with, this wool, It's the most purest renewable resource in the world. And these sheep, they'll just keep growing it. But here we go. I think this is the final fleece, Gerald.
Yeah, final fleece arriving. I'd just like to back that what you said there, because it's a very, very strong point on that renewable resource, this wool. However, ladies and gentlemen, you've got to support it. Okay, so there's lots of other ways you can buy carpet and jerseys, as we know. Okay, but wool is a living fibre. A living fibre, ladies and gentlemen. Very, very good for you. Great insulator and a renewable resource. With 6 billion people living in the world these days, we've got to go this way, but we can only go that way if we're going to support the system. So next time you're buying carpet or a jersey, and you're like that, I am from the deep south, a jersey, yeah, take note, remember this, support this industry. You're supporting, well, Mother Nature as a whole, basically. Right, having that said, that and all done, back to the table. Tiffany, onto the broom. Punter. Rolled that nice and tight and firm. And whoa, a big shake and a bang. He's the man I was just saying before, he snuck around the side of the table there. And he has had some training all right. He just sort of lay that fleece down. He didn't even throw it from the end. Just a step ahead. Tina, still with a little bit of fleece wool on the table, doing the last and final roll, but the other two are onto the broom and under the table they go. Broom time for the whole lot now. Sweep, 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 sweep. Here we go.
This young boy Tiffany on table number 1, he looks like he's on fire. We got Tina here on table number 2. Come on, Tina, push it along. We got Sam here, table number 3. Come on, Sam, you're teetoing around, girl. Get in and get those fingers going. These wool handlers, look at their points up on the board, Gerald. These points are amazing. These wool handlers are going awesome. It's out the gate.
Wow, they are awesome. Who we got there? Tina. Back to the broom. Last finishing touches. Come on, Tina, I hear from the front row. Hand in the air now.
Thank you, fellas. One more heat, ladies and gentlemen, in our junior competition. Ash Boyle, Jazz Marie Hogg, Brogan Rewai, Robin O'Donnell. It's a final heat in our junior competition. First heat in the ANZ Novice Wool Handling, which will take shape as soon as we finish here. Te Rangamarie.
Thanks, Rick. Well, we're just coming to the end now on press number 1. Declan just pulled the bale out of the press. Just tucking it up now, making sure everything is neat and tidy for these judges. We want a well-presented bale. He's just putting the finishing touches. He'll close the door. Just coming to the end now. He's worked very, very hard, but he's hardly blowing here. And up goes the arm for Declan here on press number 1. And how are you going over there, John?
I was just watching there, and Declan looks, he did that bale reasonably easy. And of course, they've got to remember that the target weight is 160 kilos. And James here, well, he was really working hard. He'll be close to 20 or 25 kilos advance of that 160. So he'll get a job in my shed because he's putting out a good bale of 180 kilos, which is what we try and target for fleece wool. But here we go, he pulls it out. That's like a brick, and I think he might just have wasted a little bit of energy, but he's still doing the job right. Look at him, he's punching in the corners. Any wool left poking out the side. In the old days when the trucks had fertiliser and what have you, that wool would pick up oddments and bits of string, so that no good for the end product. And there goes a hand up from young James, but by golly, I'll be surprised if that bale didn't go close to 190 kilos.
Just a final call, please. Terakino Peneha. Final call, mate. We need to know you're here. Heat
Shearers
2
to the
of the
board.
Novice Wool Handling.
Shearers to the board. Robin O'Donnell on table number 2. Robin O'Donnell, Gerald.
Uh-huh.
Timekeepers ready. Shearers, get set, go. This is the last heat of the junior wool.
194 kilos.
He'll have good trunk muscles. It takes a bit to pull that down to one-man press.
He's on
By
my staff
golly,
any
it does.
day.
Rightio. All eyes to the front. Junior wool handling. Let's just talk through this first one. That's the belly wool there. Arriving out the back, you'll see a lot of shearers throw it out the back. That's when they've got to sort that. Okay, they've got to get that better belly wool separate from that brisket.
Zero. We got
frilly wool.
160, Gerald. 160.
160
right
on the
money.
bottom.
First one of the day.
Beautiful. It's what we like. Lots of perfection happening here today at the Golden Shears that we would expect at the pinnacle of wool handling and shearing. Right. Now, this is the shearer who goes around to the world famous long blow. What does that mean for the wool handlers? Well, they've done the belly wool. They've done a bit of that crutch wool. Now they've got this sort of this cheek wool, okay, this top knot sort of stuff, okay, the sun hat we call it sometimes. There, watching Hog on stand 3. See her going for that little stuff there. That's got to come out. That's not main line. That's not going to make the carpet mark, okay? Now, they're on the last side. This is where they're getting organised. They've got that little stuff on the socks when the shearer goes right out the toenails. But look at this. Boyce is just sweeping that out of the way. He doesn't want that tangled up. Now they've got to get this thing lined up correctly to make this table and only the table. Boyce gives it lots of air, and it's made the table and only with only a little bit of bunching. The bottom stand down there. Who's down there? Rewire. That's a good one down there. Bit of bunching as well. O'Donnell. That would have been a difficult fleece to throw too, ladies and gentlemen. You can see that one on table 2 here. Very loose. You can see how it's not actually so-called knitted together. Okay, if it gets really knitted together, it's called a cot. Okay, and it goes in a separate basket. You don't want cots as a farmer because it's not worth as much. It's very, very tight and no good for the wool scares. It blocks up all the rollers and jams the whole system. Not too flash, but you get loose ones like that there too on a Donald stand, and you've got to take care when you throw that to the table. Right, back to the shear as they go. Tuma, you're good to go down there.
Certainly am. Just watching this Brogan down here on table number 4, right there with his shearer. Just looking at these faces, as we've been saying all morning, Gerald, like a lot of these faces, there is not a lot of first pieces on a lot of these faces. And I think some of these wool handlers will be over-skirting a little bit. I don't know, maybe that's from just being a little bit nervous because we are at the Golden Shears in Masterton. Or, just being in front of a big crowd. Maybe they're being live streamed. I don't know if you knew, but this is getting picked up over the internet. If your family's got a computer, they can log on to www.goldenshears.co.nz and they will be able to watch this live. So, if you didn't know that, well, now you do. If you've got whānau out there that want to watch, whether they're in New Zealand or Australia or wherever, just text them that link, www.goldenshears.co.nz, and they will be able to join in live. Pretty cool.
Thanks, Summer. We're still waiting for Ford Thompson to report in for the men's pressing. If Ford is around or if anybody knows where he is, please. Thanks very much, Gerald.
Yeah, Timo, it's great to see that live stream. It's, as a ex-shearer and been involved in a lot of shows, I've always been very, very intrigued as how shearing and wool handling, because it's so action-packed, so much happening, and such a physical thing, which New Zealanders like, that physical strength and ego and testosterone and all that power and action happening, that it hasn't taken off as much as I thought on TV. But here we are. This is it. This is maybe our starting block, and we've dived off that and we're underway now. The seed was planted years ago, and now she's just starting to really build and to grow from there. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes. I'm very sure it's going to go well. And from here on in, well, who knows?
Excuse me, is Chaz Tahukiriki here, please? Chaz, are you in the stadium? come to the pressing.
You know, just looking at these wool handlers, you know, in this day and age, a lot of farmers nowadays are looking at way of cutting costs and in relations to shearing. And, you know, you might see a team of 4 shearers with 3 wool handlers, and, you know, the wool doesn't get done as it should do. You know, bellies and pieces and whatnot are all mixed together these days. So it's good to see that these young wool handlers, even at this novice and junior level, still know how to identify these different items of wool and keep them separate. But here we go, 1 minute and 30 seconds from when the shearer pulls the cord to when they will get penalised 1 point per second. Brogan, come on Brogan, you need to kia tere, get that fleece on the table. But yeah, we got young Ash Boyce down there on table number 1. He said he wasn't really sure if he wanted to have another go. I think it sort of startled him a little bit. How's he looking down there, Gerald? How's his table looking?
Looking good. Working his way around, he fits that whole hunk up all together. Now, I'd just like to make it clear that if a piece of wool does hit the ground, it doesn't mean it's contaminated. Okay, just because a piece of wool lands on the ground is all of a sudden not a second grade. It can still be first grade if picked up and put in the appropriate baskets. In for the roll, O'Donnell. Last and final one. Happy with that. A shake of the table. We like that. Bang and fire it up, aren't they? Hog. Does a table thing. Finds a bit there. Chucks that in the basket. The roll 4. Rewind down the bottom stand there. You can see the difficulty in throwing. See how that sort of fell apart, ladies and gentlemen? You visualise trying to throw a blanket like that that's all loose and floppy. But it's been and gone now, and she's onto the broom as well. That's all 4 of them. Back to the table she goes. She's got a bit of work to do up on the stand at this stage. Picks out the bigger stuff. Sweeps that clean onto the floor now. But Boyce, table's clear. Shaken and beaten up underneath the legs and all. Goes for the big shake on the first and second pieces. Tips another basket over. Gets it ready for the second pieces. O'Donnell onto the broom and down to her for last finishing touches, but the hand is in the air for a hog. O'Donnell's next. Tectra sponsored event. Look at Hog. Hello.
Right, so we're ready to go.
Hello.
We're ready to go on this press-in.
Hello. We're back.
Good stuff, guys. Thank you very much. That concludes our junior wool handling competition.
Hello.
Novice wool handling heat 1. These competitors need to be ready to take the board as soon as we get organised here. T. Rangimarie Matiaha, Adam Gordon, Jade Reary, Charlene Tahuia. Heat 2, Daryl Reary, Millie Riwai, Melissa Aihaka, Jonathan Hicks. First 2 heats of our novice wool handling.
Thanks, Rick.
Just a call, please, for junior shearers. Novice shearers. Novice shearers. We need you all up here for a singlet and to let us know you're here, please. Novice shearers.
Thanks, Rick. We'll get this next heat of the men's press-in underway. We're just going to run through. We've got Cam Hicks on press number 1 and Jonathan Martin on press number 2. So we ready to go? It's Jonathan Hicks from Martin, not Jonathan Martin. Or what we call a technical error.
A Welsh technical area.
Yeah. So Jonathan's just going to go and book in on the... So Jonathan is just going to book in quickly on the novice shearing. And he's going to be busy on the wool pressing. So if you just joined us, ladies and gentlemen, we've got some terrific competing going on this year. And as Thomas said, you can see it live on the internet as well. And I'm sure there will be people watching all over the world. All eyes are turning to Masterton for the next 3 days, ready for the big world team selection, for the wool handling and for the first member of the machine shearing to pick the team to come over to Ireland, to Gorey and Ireland, to the World Championships. So we've got a lot of competing to get through. We've got a lot of excellent competitors in the wool handling, the shearing, and the men in the pressing as well. So we've got two brothers here on the two presses. So we're going to make a start then, pressmen. Presses, on your marks, get set, go.
Oh,
That's a
you
pretty
got
good
dropping
mic,
of
that
the
one.
mic. Hey, we got the Hicks boys from Martin up against each other. Smaller brother here, Jonathan, he lifted up the top box. Sights underneath it, puts the bottom pins in. Big, tall, lean Cam, he reaches over the top. Slides it in, so that gives him a slight advantage for a start. They've probably got a couple of cold ice creams on this one as they now get ready to chuck about 90 odd kilos of wool on each side of this press that they're operating at the moment. Hey, not many presses around these days that are required to crank down. Everybody's got a bit modern, I'm afraid. Well, I'm still in the dark ages. I've got two of these crank downs in either shed, so I need guys like these young fellas here to come and help me out, because it takes me far too long to do it myself. So they're a very important part of the shearing industry, just like the wool handlers that are up on stage here at the other end of the hall. These guys, though, earn their money, $25 an hour or plus. So if you want to be a presser, go and see a shearing contractor. They're